What's up, Vankers?
Hello, Vankers.
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing, Matt? He's widowy-gwiddowing on Lando Norris's grave. He's widowy-gwiddowing on Lando Norris right now.
Yeah, wow.
Oscar Piastri hit the, could you call it a griddy? It was kind of a half griddy, half running man.
Yeah, because it wasn't going anywhere. Usually when you griddy, you traverse the space. You make progress.
Yeah, you have to be like have some room to
move.
A runoff area.
Yes.
And he was kind of in a street track with the walls, and he couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And also Oscar Piastri was not really born to gritty.
This is really devastating because the one time he shows any sort of initiative or emotion, he's going to get clowned for it. And he's going to recede deeper into his shell and become even more of a psycho. And the grid's even more fucked than it was before.
Well, you know, he's in this position now, right? He's the front runner of this championship. People are going to be asking things of him. He's in the spotlight. They're like, Oscar, you're a star. Let's get Justin Jefferson to teach you how to like have a bit of panache, a little bit of swag. And even in that video of him with Justin Jefferson, he's like, okay, like, okay. And then Justin Jefferson's like, when you win, you have to do the gritty. You got to do the gritty.
I honestly blame Justin Jefferson because he goes, it's really easy. It's just heel. And Oscar does it. It doesn't look good. And Justin Jefferson's like, yeah, man, that's it. You got it. It's like,
you're awesome.
He could have done a little bit more technical feedback.
Right, but he
gave him all the like good friends are like, no, that looks like shit. You got to keep doing it so you look good.
Yeah.
But he just toxic positivity him into that situation.
Yeah,
I blame Justin Jefferson.
There's just no version of Oscar Piastri that's going to be able to like really swag out like that.
No, his swag is an anti-swag.
That his essence, what makes him actually sexy is the fact that he's like not sexy.
It's Mike Tyson just walking out by himself.
Right.
No fanfare. Just knocking a guy out and then walking off.
Yeah, and he knocked out a few people today.
Yeah.
You know, he knocked out Lando Norris. He knocked out Max Verstappen in the sprint race.
Kimi
he knocked out
Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is a big week for our king Kimi Antonelli, but then it also wasn't that big of a week. Once again, hey, y'all, this is the Red Flags brought to you by BetMGM. Smash that subscribe button, baby, because we're trying to get these YouTube numbers sky high.
That's right.
So we can be just in the paddock all day long, every single... We're going to buy the Miami Grand Prix at one point because we were in the paddock on Thursday, had an amazing time, kind of saw what was going on around the thing. We got nice, close, and personal with Yuki Tsunoda, our king, who also had a great week. Social media wise. Wait, hold on. Let's be clear. Yuki Tsunoda outscored Max Verstappen in the sprint race.
That's
People
right.
are sleeping on that.
With an inferior floor. Who knows where he would have finished with the new update?
Yeah, Max had the upgrades.
Yeah.
So
no upgrade there.
No upgrade for Yuki.
Got a point.
Got a few points. I think he got like fifth.
But he got 1 point in the race.
And he got a point in the race. So
he killed it on social media.
He killed it on social media. We had a great conversation with him. We talked to him about how Emrata is a fan of his.
Emily Ratajkowski, yep.
Yeah, Emily Ratajkowski's a fan of Yuki, wearing our merch. Yuki was complimented the merch. He was like, I thought Hugo Boss made that merch, but I realized it was you guys. So, and we're going to send him some of that merch. And he was, he was excited about the fact that Emily Ratajkowski, is a fan of his. And my mission now is to get Emily Ratajkowski and Yuki Tsunoda to date.
That would be awesome. We've met, look. People, we were saying this to people we know, and they're like, Brian, Matt, you're fucking crazy if you think they're going to date.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to happen. And I was like, you never thought the Red Bull seat was going to happen either.
Yeah.
And we willed it into existence. With Yuki, anything is fucking possible.
Yuki makes the impossible possible, dude.
Somehow, even though everybody in that organization kind of hates him, he got the fucking Red Bull seat.
Yeah,
okay?
nevertheless, he fucking persists, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get back to Yuki later. Let's talk about this
many
race.
times.
We'll
many times. It's going to be a Yuki heavy episode. But let's talk about the race. First thing I want to say about the race, had potential to be good. Sprint race was great. Weekend was great. Race was started good, okay. But I want to say, guys, if you're in Miami and you want to see good car racing, just go on the freeway. Just go on the freeway. I've been in many cities before in my life. I've been in New York. I've been in LA. I spent a lot of time in different metropolitan areas. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a Fast and Furious movie going wherever. There are just people like ludicrous, move, bitch, get out the way.
Yeah.
You know.
We witnessed a crash on the highway.
We've witnessed multiple crashes. Because here's what's stupid: is everybody's driving like an idiot.
Yeah.
So then every now and again there's a crash and you slow down.
Right.
So it's like if everybody just went 60, we'd all get there within a reasonable time. But constant crashes, constant traffic jams, constant retirements. How much debris did we see? More like how many constant safety cars?
Yeah.
That like every time the cops are called, that's a safety car.
I said, is this entire city filled with Liam Lawsons? What's going on?
I mean, we saw a bunch of cars pulled over. One car we saw pulled over the side of the road. And I'm like, that's another retirement. And it was just a guy with his dick out peeing. Savages. It's just savages out there.
Yeah, we're at this point in our F1 fandom that when we see a car on the side of the road, we go, that's a retired car. The car is not. We would never have said the car is retired before that. Okay, yeah, but let's talk about the race. I mean, what are your macro impressions from this weekend?
Well, the obvious one is that the McLarens are
in
another league. Another league.
How are you feeling about your Max Verstappen's like still in this shit? Because like I've been on that it's going to be McLaren's. Gunter's been on it's going to be McLaren's. Max keeps pulling off miracles that pole because he's a genius and he's the best in the biz right now. But like 30 plus seconds ahead of George Russell in third.
I can't rule him out. Why would you ever rule him out? These guys, the McLaren boys, they're not getting the most out of it every time. They're making mistakes.
It's very true.
Look how great that car was, and they didn't get pole with it.
I mean, the reality of what this race should have been, if Lando and Oscar had been able to just like put it all together, it would have been the two of them 1-2. And they would have won the race. They would have won the race. They would have literally gwiddied on the grid. They would have won the race by like a minute.
It should have been Hamilton Rosberg.
It took 20-something laps for them both to get past Max because Max was just like pulling off miracles.
I also think the McLaren's not that great in dirty air. And once it gets to clean air, it's a beast.
But we saw what happens when like Oscar passed because the race today was, the first 20 laps was really everything. We were hoping that rain was going to come. It didn't come. Those first 20 laps were thrilling.
They were thrilling.
Because it was, Max defending like his life depended on it. I was saying this when we were watching the race, but like there's a few things that you can depend on in this world. It's, death, taxes, and Max pushing Lando Norris off the track. That's just what it's going to be. The thing that I feel like keeps happening, it's like Lando makes moves and tries to like keep it clean. And then Max says, no, that's not what we're doing. And then Max makes a move to push Lando off the track. And what you have to do with Max Verstappen is that you have to make the move to force him into an area. Like that's what Oscar Piastri knows and figured out. And that's what he did in Saudi Arabia. He was like, no, I'm making the move to force you off track.
Yeah.
Like he had he locked up. He kind of went around the corner, but then, he could have maybe in that moment, like, shoved his nose in there and forced Max to make a mistake, but he didn't.
Well, the problem is the way these rules are constructed, which is like Lando was like so much alongside him.
Yeah.
Like he was there.
Right.
Like under another set of racing rules, he might have been entitled to space.
Right.
But he wasn't ahead. What Oscar made sure in the last, what was the 2 races ago? It was that he won.
Saudi Arabia.
Oscar made sure he was ahead because if you're ahead, you have all the rights, and the guy next to you has no rights. So Lando got very close, but he wasn't ahead, and that's why Max didn't get a penalty. Is because you can do whatever you want to a fucking guy as long as you're ahead.
It's kind of like
even if you're like because it sucks because if he wasn't allowed to do that, then you might get racing through multiple corners.
Right.
You might get what we got with Max and Lando, where it's like they're trading places and you get that thrilling shit. But now, Max is like, I'm ahead. I'm going to just close the door on him.
Right.
And then Lando is forced to choose, like, are we crashing or am I lifting?
And let's be clear, Lando will always lift.
Well, he's got more to lose than Max.
Of course, but there's a certain but if he had, there was the one time where he didn't lift last year and they crashed. But like it's about like you gotta establish your rep. And I just think like Oscar's got the rep. Like, I'll fucking crash into you, bitch. Like, this is my corner. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't think he might have pulled that shit on Oscar.
I don't think he would have pulled that shit on Oscar.
Or he might have because he doesn't care.
Well, but it's still, I just think, it's interesting. We went to this Mercedes event. Mercedes WhatsApp did this movie about Kimi Antonelli. It's going to be on Netflix. Honestly, the documentary was incredible.
Yeah.
It made me be kind of obsessed with Kimi Antonelli. Yeah. And then they did a talk back afterwards, and Toto Wolff, who was, we know where we're at with that guy. We have our own feelings about Toto Wolff. But what he said was, because they were all mad about what Oscar did to Kimi, which was basically just like, I don't know, outstart him in this sprint
I'm
race.
ahead, get it. He got ahead.
Yes.
And they threw him off the track, which is allowed.
Right. And Kimi said, like, any penalty for Oscar? Nope. Okay, like, good to know.
Yeah.
Like, that's good to know. And what Toto said, and this doesn't really actually fit with Toto's ethos, but I think he's, like, kind of putting it on. He was like, I give Kimi full license to shunt with Oscar tomorrow.
Throw Oscar into the wall.
Throw Oscar into the wall. I give him full permission to do so because. And what he said was, he was like, because you have to establish yourself in this world. You have to establish who you are.
You gotta. It's like being in the prison yard. You gotta fucking take out the biggest guy. And not take any shit, otherwise that's how you're going to be looked upon. You got to pick on the biggest kid in the recess yard. Otherwise, people are going to start taking advantage of you. And that's something you and I have been saying. But to actually hear like a team principal for a top team vocalize this idea of, this is your reputation at stake here.
Right.
And by the way, when you're not in a championship fight, when you've got nothing to lose, this is the time to sort of establish it, and that's what Lando should have been doing.
Yes.
That's what Lando should have been doing, and everyone will say, "Well, Lando's got a lot to lose. Of course, he should have lifted. He did the smart thing. He did, but he never fought. He never fought in any of these years.
Yes,
and that was the time for him to be
establish himself.
My dad's father was like grew up in a very tough neighborhood. People were confronting him all the time. Stick up kids. It was like a tough neighborhood.
Right.
And my grandfather was very small, and he said that his strategy was to just act like an insane person when anyone came near him. So no one would fuck with him. They're like, well, I don't want to fight a crazy person because a crazy person will like bite my eyeball.
Right.
Even if I'm 6'4".
Right.
I don't want to fight a crazy guy who's 5'5". Unpredictable. So you gotta be crazy like a fox. You gotta pretend to be a little crazy, even if you're not.
Right. And for years, Max had people criticize Max, like he crashed into the Ferraris that time.
Yeah.
He came in young, he came in hot. People were like, this guy's too much. He's too crash heavy. He's too crash prone. But he was establishing something there, and I'm not saying that you have to be a psycho like Max, because I think Max takes it to like the nth degree. But like, look at Oscar. Yeah. Oscar's not a psycho on track, but like that he's not like giving up that place. He's not just going to avoid action because like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
He's like, no, this is where I stand. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, you're racing car drivers. It's not as much as they want to insist that it's a gentleman's game, it's fucking not.
Also, it's like one of these things that you and I were talking about during the race where it's like, well, you could like point at this isolated incident and be like, well, yeah, no, it's not Lando's fault. What was he supposed to do?
Right.
It's an isolated incident, right? In a vacuum, Lando didn't do anything wrong. He made a good move. Max actually locked up. This was a better start. It started off like, he might actually get him. He gave the Lando fans hope.
Yeah, we had a good start. Max locked up. He had the run on him.
Yeah. And then but here's the thing. It's like, it's always something. It's the same thing with Liam Lawson. We're like, with the last couple of races, we love Liam Lawson, but he's been having, and it's like, and like Liam Lawson was like, he gave me no room. He was making all these excuses on the radio. And then Brian, you're like, it's always something.
It's always him.
It's always you. And with Lando, he's always the one getting thrown off the track.
Yeah.
It's always some bullshit. He's always the one, like, at some point, at what point is it not just 10 coincidences?
Well, it's like in a murder.
Oscar's never getting thrown off the track.
If in a murder investigation, like people who investigate, if you watch like detective shows, you watch enough true crime, you recognize that like, hey, like, if there's one thing that's kind of like weird about a crime scene, they left the water on. The water was running. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. Well, guess what? 2 years ago, a murder in a home, they left the water running. And actually 3 years before that, they left the water, and then they go, there's a serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, like, patterns matter.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you zoom the fuck out, you look at what's happening here, and the common denominator seems to be that whenever it gets into the scrum, when it's a fight for a knife in the mud and it's wheel-to-wheel action, Lando actually doesn't have it. And it was actually, after the race, I think right as Oscar Piastri was doing his failed griddy, Martin Brundle was like, what we've learned today is that Oscar Piastri's racecraft is just top notch, and it's above Lando, as he's like, his back griddy. Like, this guy really has what racecraft, as he's like,
what a skilled operator. As he's fucking.
This is one of the greatest talents we've seen in years. And what he was saying, he was like, what we maybe see is that Lando has better pace.
Lando's the faster driver.
Lando is actually the faster driver. Lando maybe has the more raw talent when it comes to pure pace, but Oscar has the racecraft, and because it's like Oscar and Max were fighting for that place, so then Lando was able to catch up, and all of a sudden the three of them were nice and close, because they were losing time battling each other, and it did take Oscar a little bit to get past Max. It wasn't easy for Oscar. It took him a few laps because it's hard to get past Max Verstappen even when the car is like profoundly slower than yours. But then when it took Lando a while, it took him a little bit longer. It also took him a long time to get past Max. But by that time, Oscar in the clear air had built up like a 10-second gap.
And then he had to give the place back. There was more bullshit.
Exactly, because Lando wasn't able to fully like get it in the same way. Yeah. But anyway, it was like a 10-second gap. And then by the end of the race, it was like a 3.5-second gap. So like he was able to make up.
You can't look at that. It's hard
Why
to.
Not?
Because you don't know if Oscar was pushing. You never know that.
You don't know if Oscar was pushing, but like I think the fact that he wasn't able to ultimately get there, because I think they were like, maybe Lando's going to catch him. I didn't think Lando was going to catch him.
We played this game in other. What was the race when was the second race that Lando won? What was the other race that Lando won? Or when Oscar was behind Lando, he's like, I got more pace. It's like, you don't actually know that Oscar has more. Like, you don't actually know when a guy's in front.
I mean, Yeah, I don't know. I would like to, going off of the thing that we literally just said, which is that Lando maybe has more raw pace.
Yeah.
Lando being able to even make up those 6 seconds or whatever it is, maybe is a testament to his craft. But in the wheel-to-wheel moment, I never thought he was actually going to catch Oscar, because I knew that Oscar in the clear air wasn't really pushing.
Yeah, they're lying when they say that.
Yeah. Well, they're just trying to keep people watching.
Yeah.
Vankers, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Anyway, they didn't call a penalty on Max for that thing, because I guess because
Max was ahead.
Because Max was technically ahead.
Max was ahead. You got to be ahead. Oscar was ahead.
Yeah.
When he
threw Max
off the track, so that's why he was fine.
So what's the other version of a racing rule? Like what would the change be that would maybe potentially fix that?
Well, first of all, I think part of the problem is all you got to do is be ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So then what that encourages is like guys to lift.
Yeah.
So they're not even like intending to make any sort of corner. All I got to do is be ahead, and if we both fly off, then I get the place.
Right.
As long as I'm ahead. So what you have to do is, it's a little more technical, but like you're not allowed to do that. Like once you hit a brake, like you have to brake normally, or whatever that is. you allow alongside. Once a person is like
Mm-hmm.
a certain percentage, like not nose to back wheel, but
Right.
nose to mirror.
Yes.
Then you can't. He's there. You can't just
right.
discard him, because and that way it creates an environment where not only do you incentivize more overtaking, but Lando gets to stay there, and then they get to like. They get to like follow each other. You
Right.
get more wheel to wheel action. Now Max is like, well, I'm ahead, so bye.
Right.
And then it's over.
Yeah, and no one really like uses that rule quite like Max. Max is like, "Fuck you! I was a fucking head.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude." But
he completely shut the door on him.
Yeah.
And it was allowed because Max was ahead.
Yeah.
And what's also unfortunate is like we keep getting denied the Lando and Oscar. It's like it's like fate keeps.
Yeah, they keep edging
It's
us.
probably better that way. Because when it finally does happen, it'll be more rewarding.
Well, it's going to happen at some point. These cars are too in a class of their own right now. I mean, who knows? Maybe as the season goes and after Spain, when they get rid of the flexi stuff, maybe the cars will start to like bunch back up. But like 1-2s for them, especially in tracks that are not high-speed tracks that are built maybe a little bit more for that Red Bull car, it's seemingly going to be 1-2s for those two guys.
Yeah.
And, Lando did out-qualify Oscar. I know he had this disappointing result, but, like, maybe there's a little bit of more confidence there. And, like, eventually, hopefully, we're going to get a few, it's these two fucking guys going at it wheel to wheel, because, like, that's really what we need this year. I mean, we've said it again. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Like, in order for this season to be, like, anything to write home about,
you got to have Hamilton-Rosberg.
we got to have a Hamilton-Rosberg situation.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're like not really fully giving it to us.
It's like before WrestleMania, where the two big guys, like they face each other in the ring, they're about to swing, and like, no, gotta wait till WrestleMania,
Right?
It's like they're delaying the gratification, which to some degree is fine, but I as many times as these guys can go wheel to wheel, the more times these guys go wheel to wheel, the better.
I'll say one more thing about Lando and Oscar, and then we can move on. But this is just a funny moment when they were doing the ride to the podium.
Oh yeah,
and they were like on the truck, and it's just like this awkward situation where they're like, normally when they give the interviews, you go in your little station, now it's my time on the stage. They had all three of them there. They talked to George, he's kind of like bantering back and forth with Lando. They talked to Lando, then they talked to Oscar, and then in that moment, it's the three shot.
Yeah.
And you see the three of them, and Button's just like complimenting Oscar. He's just like, you've really, the difference between last year and this year, you've grown so much. Like, you're such a better driver in these ways. And Lando was just
and George was smart. George was like waving. He was doing what in the acting they say business.
Yes.
He was kind of occupying. I think it was Steve McQueen was always like, when he was in the Magnificent Seven, he had a small part, but what he did was he was always doing something.
Yes.
He was always making sure he was adjusting his saddle, fixing his hat.
Right.
So he kind of became a bigger part in that movie.
Yes.
Because he was always doing business. And in acting, right, they teach you to always be doing something.
Yes.
Because human beings never just sit there.
To stand there with their arms down doing nothing.
That's unless they're dissociating, which is what Lando is doing.
Unless they're in shell shock,
Yeah.
which is what Lando. And so it's like they're there. he's talking to Oscar. How great you've grown so much last year to this year. And Lando's just, hello, darkness, my old friend. Just a slow pan. I've come to talk with you again.
Yeah, it was full Ben Affleck, and they were.
He literally was Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
The Ben Affleck, divorced dad.
or when he's talking to Henry Cavill about how great the new Batman movie is,
Right.
Superman DC movie, and
He's in the press tour.
He's in the press tour, and Cavill is like giving this long-winded answer, and Ben Affleck's just like, "What have I done with my life?
Yeah.
What has happened?"
That's the true one-to-one. Well, just to go back to the acting thing, apparently there's a story that like how Brando got his big break was like he was a very small part in like maybe a Broadway show or an off-Broadway show. And he came on stage. I think he was like peeling a potato. He like gave himself a prop and he was just peeling a potato. And he was just so like not paying attention to the scene, just like peeling this potato that people were like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
And they thought he had just walked off the street.
Yeah.
They were like, that's not an actor. And then they're like, no, that's an actor. And but it's just like his career started with just being like, I'm just gonna peel the potato.
You know,
That's what George
you know
was
how
doing.
he really got to start. He was sparring with Jack Palance, who was like the lead in the show for whatever the Tennessee Williams play was.
Yeah.
And he injured him. He injured and he was the understudy.
It's such a Max Verstappen move.
Or an Oscar Piastri move.
Dude, fucking A.
Yeah, he took out his competition.
Dude, he said, you will not, this is my corner.
Yeah.
That's my part.
Yeah. Jack Palance, legendary actor, not at the same level as Marlon Brando.
Never heard of that man. But you know what?
You ever seen City Slickers?
I have.
You know the old curmudgeonly cowboy?
Love it. Yes.
Yeah. Killed
He's great.
anybody today? You know, the day ain't over yet. Whatever. That's Jack Palance.
Okay. I think we should talk about Kimi. You know, it's interesting. It's like he has this. What we saw today, what we saw this week, was the ceiling, the high ceiling.
The ceiling.
And what we were talking about with rookies is like you just want to see a few flashes in the pan. You want to see like, can you really be that guy?
Oscar winning a sprint race at one time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what we learned about Kimi was that, like, yeah, that ceiling is going to be fucking high. This kid has talent. This kid is really talented. And it was interesting. We watched the documentary. They talk about his FP1 in Monza when he crashed. And it's great. They actually have like the guy talking to him beforehand, being like, just take it easy. Don't crash the car, blah, blah, blah. But he just has this kind of fire. What we've seen about him as a racer is that he has a ton of fire. And but they talk about that moment, and what Toto said even after was like, you know, it was a bad week. You know, we weren't happy with that. But like what we told him and what they kind of believe is like on that lap, he was putting in great times. Mm-hmm. Like he was on a fucking flyer. Mm-hmm. And I just I think we're starting to see the beginning of a possible, you know, real superstar in this sport.
And we're also seeing, which I've talked about before, the benefits. There, you have the fish jizz way of you just spray a bunch of jizz on a bunch of eggs like Red Bull does, and maybe one hits, right? And you get one in Max Verstappen,
right?
And you got a bunch of dead baby fish,
right?
Or you do what sort of elephants or humans do, which is you nurture the fuck out of one.
Right.
And it looks like they've nurtured the fuck out of one, and it might be
the one.
It might be the one, and they've been paying dividends, and it's not like flinging him into the water, sink or swim. They're giving him a lot of support.
Yes.
A lot of testing. Even when he fucks up, they're like, it's all good. You know, when he gets the sprint pole, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yes. He's the second coming of Ayrton Senna. Then he gets his fucking pocket picked by Oscar Piastri, gets absolutely bullied, blows the start, and then what does Toto Wolff say? Oh, it's a mini race. It's completely irrelevant. Where was that? It wasn't irrelevant when he got pole.
Yeah. When he got pulled, they said, this is the greatest. See, we told you.
Yeah.
We told you.
Which, by the way, I'm all for.
Right.
I'm all for that. It's but that's just the way they're choosing to manage him is to be, they're incredibly precious about it.
Another Toto Wolff shit talk. Toto was like on one at this premiere. Yeah. I think he was feeling himself because Kimi was, at this point had like, he'd been on pole. He'd had a good week so far, and he was like, this documentary is basically just like a big, like, see, the way that I do things is better than other people. Yeah. That's the documentary is the essence of, like, look how Mercedes does their shit. And you know what? In certain ways, that's right. But in the talk back afterwards, he was like, we don't, this is a young man who's put in many years for this, and we don't, when something goes bad, we don't just abandon him and kick him to the curb like some other people. Yeah. We're like, who are you talking about, Toto? Obviously.
Red Bull.
Taking shots at Christian Horner and Red Bull, yeah.
Or, what's going to happen with Jack doing inevitably.
Yeah,
just like flip it, right? Liam Lawson, they're like, this is our guy.
Right.
And now look at him. He's completely lost.
Totally.
He got completely demoralized by Max Verstappen, and he's crashing into everybody. He's crashing into literally everybody. And conversely, the guy who's doing okay, the guy who is the guy they've kind of been ignoring, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
Who's just kind of thriving in the shade.
Right, which, and as we've said, having the attention of the shitty parent is sometimes a bigger curse than being ignored. But I guess there is a question, because it's an interesting weekend, because it's like Kimi has this great result, but then ultimately, like, once again, George Russell on a fucking podium.
Yeah.
And I think, there is a welcome to the NFL that did happen with Kimi. It's like, yeah, you're talented, but like, so are these fucking guys. Oscar Piastri, 1 F2, 1 F3. You know, George Russell, 1 F2, 1 F3. You're going up against these top guys. I know he's young. I know he's got this stuff, but, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's an interesting dynamic there. There's just this, you know, George Russell is still putting in great performances, even as he struggled this week. At the end of the day, he's the one with the podium, not Kimi.
I think the learning curve is so much steeper for him. He's had so much less time in a single seater.
Right.
He's been in the single seaters for 30 seconds. Whereas like,
no, he's clearly fucking great. I wonder how much I wonder how high the ceiling, because he is a rookie, but he's also had so much more testing time than so many of these other rookies.
But like, just look at Oscar. Look at Oscar like in the past 3 years. He's just like slowly. He's had a little problem. He's like every year getting a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think Oscar came in more prepared than Kimi did. So think about where Kimi's starting probably way further behind in terms of just like simple age and just bullshit that he needs to learn.
Right.
He had a year as a development driver, just like getting bedded in for Alpine, granted. But I mean, Oscar's had a pretty steep learning curve, and he was even better prepared than Kimi, I think.
Right.
So yeah, I think all you want to see this year are those flashes, and I think we're definitely seeing that.
And this is a track that he didn't even know.
Yeah,
he never raced in Miami before, and they're saying like, wait till he gets to the tracks
to Imola,
and Monza, all these tracks that you do in the junior categories. We'll see where he's at there. All right, guys, we're here to talk about our favorite sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. It's no surprise that facial hair is personal. It grows on your face. We all grow it, shave it, style it differently, and we think that's pretty fucking great. It all makes us more interesting. That's why in this club, we make the razors and you make the rules, baby. That's right. I'm not going to lie. I thought the Dollar Shave Club just made razors, but they do so much more than that. Whether you're going smooth shaven or maintaining a beard, Dollar Shave Club offers shave and grooming products that are always high quality and never, ever overpriced. Let me introduce you to some of their top sellers that we're going to make your grooming routine feel like a spa. First up, we got the Dollar Shave Club Series 6 Blade Razor. This isn't just any razor, okay? It's like a mini vacation for your face. With 6 stainless steel blades and vitamin E-infused lubricant strip, the razor delivers the closest, most comfortable shave imaginable. It's so comfy, your skin might want to just take a nap afterwards. Plus, the precision trimmer is perfect for those little detail areas because we know how important those are. Also, they have an amazing series of products that prep your skin for your shave and take care of it after. We got the shave butter. It's the top selling shaving aid. It's true. I use it, and it's so much more helpful than when you put all the white, puffy gunk on your face, because you're like, am I even getting this stuff? This goes on clear, so you can see exactly where you're shaving. But don't take our word for it, Vegas. Try it for yourself. At Dollar Shave Club products are now available everywhere, so you can order them from their website, Amazon, or get them at your favorite retailer near you. Alternatively, you can visit their site right now for 20% off $20 or more. Get your products delivered right to your door. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/red flags and use the promo code red flags to get 20% off $20 or more. And remember, whenever you shave, welcome to the club. Meanwhile, on another team, we've got 2 all-timers, 2, the GOAT and another kind of Kimi Antonelli type of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Ferrari's just fucking nowhere.
Yeah, where did they finish?
They finished 7th and 8th.
Yeah, behind Williams.
Behind Alexander Albon in the Williams.
Who finished 5th?
Bitch. We might have to roll. I mean, listen, we might have to roll back our James Vowles stuff. James Vowles might be the real fucking deal.
I think it's too early.
I don't know, dude.
I think it's too early. I don't know. I mean, it's a flat. Who knows if this Williams? Where did they finish? 5th and
9th. But that's Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I mean,
if they had 2 drivers now.
Yeah. No,
he finished ahead. The Williams finished ahead of the Mercedes. Alex Albon finished ahead of Kimi Antonelli.
Where's Williams in the constructors right now?
They're in 5th, and alone in 5th, on an island. No one even coming close to them.
It's really tough to be a James Vowles hater. It's a tough day.
He's making, and you know what?
Today was a tough day in the office for me.
Jenny saw him at the track, and she said, "Whoa, why he kinda?"
Really?
Because he's walking around with a little bit of swag. I saw a picture and I said, "Wait, why he kinda?"
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just like when you start winning, when you start putting the pieces together, like, you know.
He's still annoying though. He might be very good at his job.
Well, yeah, he's definitely annoying.
He's
but that's
definitely
because
cringe.
he spent too many years with Total Wolff.
Yeah.
But the guy knows his shit. I mean, listen, McLaren. Let's not forget that a couple years ago, McLaren was at the bottom of the fucking pack.
Okay, let's just go over this. Okay, Haas is Haas.
Yes.
Aston Martin, I think they're they're tanking or something.
Well, I don't know what's going on with Fernando Alonso.
I don't know what's going on. Fernando Alonso is like, it's like the picture of Dorian Gray. Like he aged in 1 year. Like
yes,
it all caught up to him in 1 year. He like staved it all off.
Dude, it's picture of Dorian Gray, but it's also the fucking what's the Demi Moore movie this year? It's the
substance.
The substance.
It's the substance.
The substance.
He's
like,
been taking the substance
for so long.
And now it's all gone to shit.
He's spinning. Yeah. No one's touching him, and he's spinning.
Yeah,
every time something happens, I go, well, surely that must be Lance Stroll.
Crazy.
No, it's 2-time WTC champion, arguably what should have been 5 or 6-time WTC champion. Fernando Alonso spinning, unassisted spinning?
Yeah, you know what it was? He'd been taking the substance. He didn't follow the rules.
Right.
And now he's paying for it.
No, exactly.
And now he's aging super fast. That's what's happening.
Well, the rumor, I mean.
And by the way, great colors because the substance was green. It's like right on brand.
Right there.
You fucking nailed that.
Yeah, he's the substance, dude.
He is Demi Moore in the substance.
And he's
at the end of the movie where she's a blob.
Yes, and he's curling his one eyelash that's like on his back.
Yeah, and everyone used to talk about how looks like the same. I'm like, he looks a little older.
It's catching up.
It's catching up.
Has 0 points.
Yeah,
Lance Stroll.
It's crazy.
He's currently bodying Fernando Alonso. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So let's just go through this. We have Haas.
Yes,
that's Haas.
Yes,
we have Aston Martin.
You get rid of Gunter. Guess what? It's still fucking Haas.
Yeah. You have
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin that are tanking.
Yep. Stake.
We have Stake that are in this weird like Sauber, pre-Audi. They're like this zombie of a Sauber that isn't Audi yet. It's like weird.
Yeah.
So that's them. Where's Alpine? Alpine should be faster.
Alpine should be faster, but they're kind of nowhere. Doohan keeps fucking, getting into it's zoom out a little bit. Doing something always is happening with Doohan. But even Gasly, where did he finish today? Gasly finished.
Alpine's 9th?
Alpine's
That's
9th.
Crazy.
Gasly finished 13th today. Here's the constructors as we have it right now. Sauber 10th place with 6 points. Alpine 9th place with 7 points.
That's crazy.
RB 8th with 8 points. So they're fucking, those three are neck and neck. Aston Martin 7th with 14 points, all Lance Stroll points.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Haas in 6th with 20 points, and Williams in 5th with 37.
And where's Ferrari in 4th?
Then Ferrari 94 and 4th, Red Bull 105,
so,
and then Mercedes and McLaren are at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to find excuses for Williams being good. I'm ruling out Sauber,
the rest of them suck.
Yeah, the rest of them. But it's impressive they're beating V-Carb.
But it's not even.
Those are real operations.
Them beating them, but it's not just them getting 10th. It's not that just them getting 10th and 9th. Today, on a day with like not much weirdness, it wasn't that crazy today.
Yeah.
Albon, who qualified 5th, finished 5th. That's real pace.
Yeah.
They're like the
ahead
real.
Of Carlos Sainz.
They're the real deal. And what we've been hearing is that Darlington Capital is like putting a ton of money. So now like they have the resources. And
so is he even that good? They got the resources now.
For sure. But you look at Haas. Haas has 20. I mean, I think they've had a few like kind of like big in craziness results. But like this is what Haas has never had. This is what Gunter's never had. Like in his years there, you put like real money, power, and you
infrastructure.
Infrastructure, and you do have a guy who like knows what to do with it.
Knows how a real team is run.
And you have Alexander Albon.
Right.
And you have Alexander
How many
Albon.
points did Albon get today? How many
he
points
was in
did he
5th. I think he got 10 points today.
Yeah, he dropped a hammer on Sainz today. You are looking really smart. You're looking really smart these days.
I'm stunting on this fucking pose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so let's move to Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari. I mean, today was just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Well, let's give them their props. They took a risk in the sprint race.
Apparently that was Lewis.
Which apparently was Lewis.
Lewis was like, yeah, Kimi Antonelli.
Who told us that? Gunter told us that, didn't he?
Gunter
was like, oh, that was Lewis. That was Lewis.
I was like, Ferrari was smart. He's like, no.
That was Lewis, man.
Lewis, yeah.
So Lewis called, let's go on slicks early.
Lewis took a page out of Vettel and signed his book.
Yes.
And called his own play.
Yep.
And that's the only reason why he succeeded.
Yes.
He got a podium,
Yes.
which was great for him.
Mm-hmm.
But then where did Leclerc finish? Qualify 7th or 8th?
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton was out in Q2, but then
only by like a 10th.
But then Leclerc was in Q3, qualifies 8th, and is like, that was the best lap that I could possibly put together.
Mm-hmm.
So the car doesn't have pace. And then in the race today, like the guys are they're right there. They're next to each other.
Yeah.
Lewis says, hey, like, I'm on a different tire strategy. I've got the mediums. Let me try to, I have better tires right now. Because it's like this interesting thing, right? When you have drivers on different strategies and they're next to each other, what a team should do, what Ferrari should have done today is said right away, okay, Lewis on the better tires, let him go ahead, try to catch Kimi.
Yeah.
If he can't get there, we will give the place back.
Yeah.
And also, by the time the race is ending, Charles will actually have better tires because he's on the hards.
Yeah.
They won't degrade as fast, and then he'll have the chance to maybe get Kimi. But what they did was
hit him with the we are checking.
They hit him with a fucking another we are checking, and then Lewis was like, yeah, have some fucking tea while you're at it, bitch. I mean, we saw the meme that there's that great Shia LaBeouf meme that is so applicable to like almost to so many F1 moments where they're like, this is what you asked for, man. You wanted this. Yeah. You're in it now, man. So shut the fuck up.
And it was like, it's like first time when they're all being hanged,
It's like, and he was like, this isn't great teamwork, guys. This isn't great teamwork.
Yeah, no, they dithered for 3 laps. So Lewis lost three laps of his prime.
And
tire
at that
life.
time, Charles was like 2.5 seconds behind Kimi. They took 3 laps to like be like, well, let's talk to each other about it. And then they're like, okay, finally you can pass. By that point, Kimi had actually like been a few seconds up the road. Then all of a sudden he's got a 5-second gap that he has to make up when it could have been like a 2.5 or 3-second gap.
Yeah, and then they asked him to switch it back.
Yes,
and Lewis didn't switch it back. We're like, oh, is Lewis not switching it back? It's like, oh, it turned out that they hadn't told Lewis to make the switch.
They just told Charles.
They just told Charles. They hadn't confirmed it with Lewis, so it's just. What are they doing?
They said we're going to swap positions, and they only said that to one Charles Leclerc. So then Charles like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, hold on. Oh shit. Hey, tell him to switch the place.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And Lewis was all salty about it. They said Albon is 1.4 seconds behind, and Lewis was like, you want me to let him by too?
That was savage. That was one. I mean, I've already like radio of the day. That's one of the best radios I've ever heard.
Yeah, so clever, so cutting. But I guess my question is, obviously Lewis should be pissed that it took 3 laps for him to get the place back. But he shouldn't be mad
that they switched it back.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be.
You didn't get him. You didn't get Antonelli. Now you could argue that it's because he should have been let through earlier,
right?
And they were,
and also when they were gonna do it, like at one point. Because they had gotten closer to Antonelli by that point, and then when they were like, no, like, don't worry, Charles, we are going to swap the place. And he goes, and Antonelli's right there, like, don't even bother. Like, he said something like that. He was just like, oh, you guys took too long.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make these decisions like this.
Also, he said, my tires are so hot from being behind Lewis that it's just like, what's even the point? So...
They're like, don't just stay in Charles's DRS.
Somehow neither of them are happy.
They're both pissed.
They're both pissed. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. They're both ultimately pissed that the car sucks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, these little strategy myths are whatever. If you're
but they're
only
indicative
fighting
of something bigger.
And to go back to like the Lando Norris of it all, it's like how you practice is how you play. It's like What's the foundation of what we're even trying to build?
Yeah.
Because if this is how we're playing for 7th and 8th, how the fuck do you think it's going to be when you're playing for 1st and 2nd?
It's not going to get tighter. The ship's not going to be run tighter when the car is fast.
When there's more pressure, when the car's faster and there's more pressure, you think you're going to get better at making quick decisions?
No.
These decisions actually don't fucking matter. You're going for 7th and 8th.
It's like, swap them. Who gives a shit?
Your Ferrari, you're going to get $90 million at the end of the year anyway. If you got last place. Money doesn't matter to you guys. What matters is how you do shit.
Not looking like idiots.
It's horrible for the brand.
Horrible for the brand. I mean, do I want these guys? Do I want to get on a highway with cars designed by these guys?
I don't.
If I'm stranded at the side of the road in a Ferrari and they have their own special customer service, I'm stuck. It's raining. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and they're like hitting me with the "we are checking."
It's just
horrible for the brand.
It's a joke, and I don't know what it is at this point because there was when Mattia was there, we're like it's top down, it's Mattia, blah blah blah. But now Mattia's gone. We got Fred in there who feels like a guy. I don't know, but I'm projecting onto him as a guy who can make a fast decision, a guy who's like, let's trim the fat, let's just get to the bare bones of what we need and do it. But even I think he
hasn't done it.
He hasn't done it, and I'm like, he's gotten these two guys who are at the top of their game, and we can't figure out a smart way of going back and forth for 7th and 8th.
It's almost like, thank God they don't have a fast car. They'd be humiliated.
It would be a joke.
It would be like McLaren last year times 1,000. Remember all the mismanagement McLaren did last year? It's because they were not ready. They were not operationally ready for how good their car was.
Right. And we'll see what happens this year.
Now their car's so good,
right,
it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how operationally shitty they are. But Mercedes got exposed in 2021 because their car was so good that their pit stops didn't have to be that great. Their strategy didn't have to be great. And that's why they lost 2021. It's because when you got into those little that marginal stuff, they just weren't as sharp as Red Bull were.
This is the time where you should be getting good.
Yeah.
This is like the gym.
Yeah.
For these teams.
Yeah.
Because look, Red Bull for all those years when they're like, we're never going to win a championship. Whatever. They thought maybe we'll win a championship, but we're just trying to impress.
Yeah.
Let's get as fast
we're gonna have the fastest
as possible.
We're gonna have the fastest pit stops.
And then all of a sudden,
Best
when they were
strategy.
when they were right there with Mercedes, who had just been like, everything's awesome. We must be doing everything right. It's like it's what's the plane fallacy, right? We were just talking about this where you shoot. They brought the planes that came back.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And they were like, this is where we need to put more armor on our planes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't analyze the planes that don't fucking come back.
Yeah.
Mercedes for years was like, we must be amazing at everything.
Right.
Because we keep winning. It's like, no, actually, when the going gets tough, all the holes, it's like what happens in LA. Every time it rains, there's just power outages everywhere.
Right.
Because there's just leaks in the roof. But you don't know because it never fucking rains.
Right.
So
there's never any pressure.
You think my house is structurally sound, and then it rains, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I now have to do fucking water damage.
Also,
repair?
No one knows how to drive. It's like no one's prepared for any sort of problem.
So exactly. So McLaren's now figured that out.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. Red Bull is now struggling. They've had a few years where Max just completely dominated, and all of a sudden they're being exposed because they got a little bit too cocky. This is the time where a team like Ferrari, they've got these two guys, they've got Fred in there, they should be getting as lean and powerful as possible so that if in the next couple years they're actually fighting for a championship, they're actually going to be fucking ready for the moment.
They're not ready.
But they're not.
Well,
it's a joke.
Ironically, it's the Ford from what we've heard, it's the Ford versus Ferrari thing.
Yeah.
And Ferrari's become Ford, where it's like
too bloated.
Where it's like, what was that? He goes, it was Matt Damon was like, you know why you guys are losing is because I just watched an envelope go through 1,000 different people. It's too much red tape. And I think it was Bernie Collins that was saying so when she started Force India, she was the only person. They were like, she went on to be a performance engineer,
right?
Or a she like either GP or one below.
Yeah,
she went on to do that, and they were like, actually, can you do strategy? And she was like, I don't know what the fuck. I never done strategy before. They're like, you figure it out, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And she figured it out, and she said that what was interesting was she was the only one.
Right.
She was just making certain decisions, and I was like, well, how come you're able to make these decisions and you have no experience and you're so green, and Ferrari fucks this up all the time.
Yeah.
She goes, because I could just make a decision.
Right.
In Ferrari, there's 100 of me, and it's all a committee, and we have to talk about it, and it's a whole thing. And it's almost better to be dumb and inexperienced and quick
Yes.
than like have a whole committee of smart people deliberating.
There was the whole, when Adrian Newey was looking for a new home. I'm leaving Red Bull. Adrian Newey's leaving Red Bull. Where's he going to go? Never in a million. There were a few people like Aston Martin. We're here in Aston Martin.
Or Ferrari because he wants to be
no. But people were like, we're here in Aston Martin. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up. Obviously, he's going to go to Ferrari. Who doesn't want to be in red? Everyone thought it's going to be Ferrari. He's going to go to Ferrari. And from what we understand, he looked at Ferrari and said, this thing is too fucking bloated for me. I want to be over here in this lean, where I can have agency to do whatever the fuck I want to do, where I'm not going to have to convince this person that I need to do this design, or I need this contract, I need this part. And that's what he loved about Red Bull, was that it was like all Dietrich. He could just go to Dietrich. I want this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Christian just kind of let him do whatever he wanted.
These need to be lean, mean fighting machines, and like they just get too fucking bloated, and that has been the case with Ferrari, continues to be the case for Ferrari, and it doesn't look like that's stopping anytime soon. So like, I just don't. I'm like, how? So right now, I'm like, it's gonna be another 15, 20 years before they win a championship.
It's good until they like get a guy like Luca de Montezemolo who just empowers somebody and just walks away.
Yes,
it's gonna be like this.
Yes,
and it's never gonna stop. Because I don't even think Fred's not completely even in control.
Right.
He's not even. He's like running the team, but every decision needs to be passed through above him to a board.
Yeah.
To what's his face? Apparently, the CEO for the Elkan, like he's run like soccer teams into the ground, Italian side. Like it's new owner syndrome kind of thing.
All right, let's get into our awards. Daddy of the day.
There's no other choice but Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen, baby.
Big Daddy.
Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. L'chaim, Max Verstappen.
L'chaim, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yuki is incredible.
Yuki's a fucking genius.
He said he called Max Big Daddy, and then when he was being put in the back seat, he was in the back seat. He goes, "Treat me like a baby. Treat me like I'm Lily." Wah, wah.
He's a genius.
Max like, yeah, I've been carrying your ass.
yeah. Listen, Kelly Piquet's been carrying Lily. I've been carrying you to term, bitch.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I had to get a C-section to get your ass in here.
Yeah.
You were too
Yuki's
big.
up on the booster seat, fucking being carried around.
Yeah, I mean, Max Verstappen, father. I mean, let's
father to Lily and 19 other drivers on the grid.
19 other drivers on the grid. Penelope. I mean, this guy is just a fucking dad, and he wears so many different dad hats. He's worn a stepdad hat with Penelope. He's now wearing a real, a biological dad hat with Lily, and he's been wearing a fucking sit on my lap, you fucking bitches dad hat with all these drivers for the last 5 years.
It was so terrifying. It was like that moment where he didn't show up to media day, and it's like, Max isn't here.
Yeah.
His wife is in labor. Who knows what's going to happen? And then someone, one of these accounts was like, his jet's moving. He's on his way. And there must have been in my heart, there was a chill. It's like, oh shit, he's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, she's been born. I'm getting on the plane.
Yeah. And he's the first to arrive at the paddock.
It was so funny. We were talking to Gunther, and an agent was with us. And he's like, oh, so if Kelly's in labor now, like it's Thursday, like he's probably going to miss the race, because even if the child's born on Friday, like he's probably going to want to spend a couple of days, couple weeks paternity leave. And Gunther was just laughing at him.
Yeah.
Gunther's like, he's going to make the race.
No.
He's like, what do you mean? Like, even this high pressure guy, this career driven guy was like, you take 1 to 2 weeks paternity leave minimum. Gunther's like,
it's also like next week's off. There's no race next week. He's fine.
Yeah. He's gonna she's not gonna remember any of this shit anyway.
Yeah. No, Max Verstappen. I mean, we were asking people today. First, not only hopefully there's a female F1 driver before this, but like first female WDC winner, Lily Verstappen. I mean,
that's
PK
terrifying.
genes plus Verstappen genes.
That also dangerous on a microphone, probably.
Anyway, so congrats to Max.
Yeah.
L'Chaim, congratulations on your baby girl. Hottest moment of the day.
Hottest moment of the day.
Max Oscar battle.
Yeah.
Lando had that sick overtake on I think it was Sainz, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I think it was on Antonelli. I think he passed Antonelli in like this part of the track where Brundle was like, no one passes there. And I was like, did Lando just pass in a place where no one passes? That's actually, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
No, there was just the first 20 laps of that race.
Also, the people in Miami are hot as fuck.
Yeah, sure.
Like the fits in Miami. I saw some like women that were decked the fuck out, looking like $1 million and standing in GA. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You're in 6-inch heels.
Yeah.
Versace, and fucking standing on the turnstile in the fucking baking heat.
Yeah.
Like the commitment
to
looking fabulous is insane out here.
Yeah, it's Miami, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's looking amazing in Miami, but you know who was also looking amazing?
Us,
baby. We were rocking our pelote, baby. We're rocking these hats are so nice.
Yeah.
I
have a very big head, and I need a particular fit.
It's like stretchy but snug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because my head will blow out a fucking hat
Totally.
in a second.
No, and the hats are the least of it. I was rocking my pelote shoes, clean, white, sexy. We had to go to lots of parties, and we had to look fresh because these Miami fucks. It's
made us raise our game.
Made us raise our game. So thank God we had our pelote shoes. Gunter was rocking his pelotes all week. He was looking fly.
Fresh. They got a little carbon fiber on the end.
Yeah, they got a little carbon fiber, but it's not. But here's the thing. Because it's carbon fiber, you expect it to be like rock hard, uncomfortable. No. Bends, molds with your foot.
Gunther was impressed because he fabricates carbon fiber. That's his second business. He goes, "Oh my, this is real carbon fiber."
Yeah.
He gave it a real seal of approval, and it's not because they were paying him. This was private.
No, yeah, he just told us that. He told us that in confidence, but he'll never say that in public. No, he will because he loves the shoes, and they've been amazing sponsors for us. And yeah, I mean. And I was able to. It was my first time driving with them because the pelote shoes are built for driving, so you can really feather that brake and feather the gas.
Maybe Lando could have used some pelote shoes.
Lando could have used a little bit of those.
And the start there.
Yeah, maybe would have gotten pole if he had fucking had his pelote shoes on. No, but they were great. I looked fresh all week. I'm gonna keep rocking them.
Fuck yeah.
So shout out to Tupelotti. And if you want to look fresh like myself, Matt, and the one and only Gunter Steiner, you can go to pelote.com/discount/red flags and use the code red flags at checkout for 15% off your fresh, driving ready, carbon fiber embroidered pelote shoes. But I'll give it to just this
that opening couple of laps.
The only couple of laps were thrilling.
Yeah, thrilling.
And which is because of Max Verstappen, because of Daddy.
Because Daddy wasn't where he was supposed to be.
Because Daddy wasn't where he was supposed to be. Daddy was out of position.
Yeah, Daddy was out of position.
So we got a great 20 laps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for the remaining 35 laps, they were 45 seconds ahead.
And speaking of Daddy, it's like, this is more mommy.
Yeah.
Max should say, "You'll miss me when I'm dead." So my mother, it's a big mom. It's a big Jewish mother.
Jewish mother.
You'll miss me when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Other things she used to say to me?
Yes.
I hope you have a child one day that's just like you.
Fucking savage.
She didn't mean it like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? She cursed me with myself. Anyway.
I'd love to have a child like
I was
you,
like, I think that'd be awesome. And now I'm like,
Can I dim sum it? Can I take some and leave others?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Radio of the day. Obvious.
Yeah, it's Louis.
Yeah.
Louis Hamilton.
Just so many Louis Hamiltons. You want to, yeah.
Why don't you have a fucking cigarette while you're at it? What the fuck he said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
want to have some tea while you're there, and then
take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
No. It's not like we need to make quick decisions. Anymore. Fucking idiots. And then no, you want me to let him pass as well?
Yeah. Cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded. Wait, honorary. George Russell. It's raining, guys. They're like, just because we told you rain was coming doesn't mean that there's rain now, George.
He's always hoping for chaos. It's like wishful thinking. He's wishful thinking. He's like, squirrel.
Yeah.
He's so chaotic.
Karen of the day. I think
Was gotta be Max,
Max.
right? Max. Like, lift it under yellow. Lift it under yellow.
George lifted under yellow, guys.
He is the doll from
Yes, from
Squid Game. It was just
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. And red flag of the day. I got one. Mohammed bin
I was
Salem.
thinking Mohammed bin Salem.
Mohammed bin Salem.
He took it to a new level this today.
What he has a new move. He stands by the scale because he knows that the drivers all have to go get weighed in Parc Fermé after the race.
You know what it is? It's given where my hug at, son.
Where my hug at.
He's where my hug at. He's giving where my hug at energy.
Yeah.
And the best was when he did the where my hug at to Lewis Hamilton. Lewis was like,
Yeah.
get out of
Fuck
my
off.
fuck off.
Fuck off.
But no, he stands next to the scale.
He's like, hey guys, hey. And then
He's like an actor in a shitty movie where he's like, where's the camera? Let me get in there. Yeah.
Yes, he's like an extra who keeps looking down the barrel of the frame. It's like, fucking stop, dude.
Stop.
And so he does that. He has this new movie. He's like, I'm a genius. I'm gonna go here. I get to dap up all the drivers. The only drivers that matter, the three winners.
Yeah.
Fucking dap them up. And then because it was the McLaren boys, then once they were done weighing, Zach Brown's like, my guy, my boys, come over here. Let's take a selfie.
Broken rib time.
Broken rib time. Let's take a selfie, guys, on my Google Pixel. Shout out to Zach Brown, the fucking marketing king. But he's like, let's take a selfie. And then
What a brilliant marketing idea.
MBS is like, I'm right there.
He's like photobombing.
He's photobombing McLaren.
Like me in middle school.
He's
Like to a bunch of girls that I want attention from that
like,
don't
yeah.
that want nothing to do with me, and I'm like, well,
He's Jack Nicklaus in the Shining. He's like, I've always been here, bitch. Look at that picture on the wall. That's me, motherfucker.
He sucks so. He sucks.
He got booed today.
He got booed.
Dude, this is how you know Miami has like fucking raised
Real-
the level
yeah.
because the first couple years it was all influencers, it was all business
I think
fuckers.
they lowered the price a little bit.
They lowered the price and they
And they
increased
got the real
the
one.
vibes.
And
The
they
vibes, as the price has gotten lower, the vibes have gotten higher.
gotta
Las
say
Vegas
this.
could learn a thing or two
Yes.
about this from Miami.
Yeah.
Because a few years ago, the
We
people
were-
at the Miami race wouldn't even know to have
Yeah.
booed Mohammed bin Salem. Now they fucking know. He went out there. He gave him the little fucking medallion because it's the thing that he invented, so he could get more attention.
Yeah.
And they fucking booed his ass. I said, "Let's go, Miami."
And the lowest move that he did though this time is he got DRS off of Oscar's girlfriend.
Right?
He was getting major DRS off of Lily.
Yes.
He was just like, oh, that's Oscar's girlfriend. If I stand next to her, like. And he's got no business. Like he should learn to. Like I would give myself a task. Like he's just standing there, like a bad extra. You know, it's one of my favorite things to do in when I'm watching television. I go, oh, that's a shitty extra, right? Dude, look at that extra.
Yeah.
He's a bad extra.
Dude, if he had been born in a different generation, if he had been like Gen Alpha or Gen Z, he would have been a vlogger because that dude loves attention. He's like fucking. He's like a Logan. He's like a Paul brother. That guy just needs the attention, good or bad. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill this podium. Oscar, Lando, Georges Roussel.
Killing Lando, putting him out of his misery, marrying Oscar. Got to fuck George for the story.
For sure, I'm going to kill George because Kimi Antonelli is going to do it sooner or later. So might as well. Why not me? Why not me? I'm gonna marry Oscar and I'm gonna teach him how to do the gritty because it's gonna take a while.
Are you confident in your grittying abilities?
I'm confident that I could.
You're classically trained
I could
actor.
pretty woman this fucker.
I thought you're more of like a double threat.
I'm a bit of a mover. I can move. I don't need to, babe. I don't need to be doing pirouettes. It's a gritty.
I remember when
Fernando Alonso does the gritty.
I remember I was like, did you guys learn to dance at Carnegie Mellon? It's like, at the Carnegie Mellon, we're not in the fucking ensemble. We don't fucking dance. It's the cuntiest thing you've ever said in your whole life.
Well, it's like we're either. But the thing with Carnegie Mellon, it's like if you're not in the ensemble, that means that you're actually not an actor anymore, and then you're just like doing something else. Because
Right.
other schools, it's like I'm in the ensemble, but guess what? Like I'm on Broadway for
Right.
the next 20 years. Carnegie Mellon, it's like you go big or you go home.
Yeah, it's
like, what other skills
it's
do you
win
have?
or go into marketing or podcasting or something else.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Or podcasting. Yeah.
Therapy, whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then I'm spending a night with Lando, hopefully in Miami, because that's where he does his thing best. Okay. I gotta say one thing about this: the cool down room.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves the cool down room, and what we love about the cool down room is that we can hear what the fuck they're saying. And this broadcast team.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
Yes.
Other red flag. They miss so much shit. They take so long to get to the replays.
Yes.
It's like, show the start. No, I don't care what happened to Jack Doohan.
Yeah.
Lando Norris just went from our championship contender, just got flung the fuck off the track and is suddenly in fourth. How did that happen? Can we watch it again? Wait, let's check out Jack Doohan here.
Yeah.
How he got
Let's see what happened.
Who
Jack
gives a fuck about what happened to Jack Doohan?
We need to see Jack Doohan's puncture because
No.
that's the relevant piece of information. No, Lando Norris, one of the championship contenders, has got thrown off track.
And then-
Show me it, you dumbasses.
And then
Yes.
they show, they take, I'm like, show me the replay of the failed overtake that Lando
Yes.
did. Show me the replay. Show me the replay. Show me the replay. It's I become Howard Hughes. I become Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie. Show me the replay. Show me the replay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm crazy. And then they finally show it right when the actual overtake happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
They cut to the overtake as it's done.
It's already happened.
It's already happened.
It's like, yeah, you show up to the orgy and everybody's come and walking out already. It's like, oh, that was fun.
It's
and
crazy.
You're just there for cleanup.
There's the one thing. There's the sidebar. They fuck up the sidebar. Even towards the end of the race, it's like we want to see the timing deltas because we want to make sure that Yuki Tsunoda is going to get a point in this fucking race. And you're showing me how many places they overtook. I don't care. I want to see if Yuki's going to get a point. You dumbasses. And then it's the cooldown room. One of the favorite things for all fans that we get to get this like little. We get to be a fly on the wall.
A little podcast.
Podcast between the boys, the Max Verstappen podcast. Thank God that's fucking done. That joke made me want to die.
Yeah.
Another episode of the Max Verstappen experience. Shut up. You're not interesting.
Also, 5-second penalty for Ocon. Like
Oh,
just,
God.
just like
Every
these-
internet joke that people. When people say that to me in real life, I go, I want to die. I want to die. Anyway, whatever. F1 fans are such nerds.
Yeah, when we saw them, another red flag is when they're all running. It's like just the
Babies.
just the lamest purge you've ever seen.
Just like. Like, oh God, but you know what? But it's because they're nerds that we look cool because we aren't actually
we
cool.
aren't cool at all. It's just
We're actually not even cool or really funny. It's just like that. Like we figured out how to like play in the kiddie pool. It's like we're dunking on fourth graders. That's who we are in this space.
Yeah.
Like if we did like an actual comedy podcast, like 500 people listen to it, maybe we'd be like 500. That's awesome. Anyway, the cool down room. We need to hear what they're saying. Put a fucking mic in the room and have that be the only thing that's playing. I keep hearing like the whirring of a fucking air conditioner in some other room. Put a mic.
Make it an actual podcast.
Put a mic in there. It doesn't even have to be it doesn't have to be this. Just put a fucking thing that captures the room and let me hear what the fuck is going on. The only thing that I caught, because I love these cool down rooms because they often bring hilarious moments, the only thing that we actually caught from the cool down room, this is the best moment of the cool down room, was when they're showing the replay and they're showing Max against Oscar. And when Oscar finally got him, and Max locks up and runs off the road, and Oscar finally gets the overtake done, and George just goes,
because George was like, dumbass.
like, yes, fuck you, Max.
Yeah, that was the best part. And then they were saying things and I couldn't hear it. It was like every other word.
Yeah, no.
I was like, who's producing this? The Red Flags podcast? Like, why is the audio so bad?
Hey, this isn't your fucking bedroom, okay?
Yeah. Oh.
That's an inside joke. You can maybe hear about it on our Patreon at some point later. Hey, subscribe to the Patreon. I guess that's it. We got an off week next week. We're gonna have a bunch of content that we shot. Clips of us with Yuki, clips of us with Liam Lawson, some stuff from this live show that we did with Gunter, which was great.
Yeah.
We had a great time shooting Grand Preview with him. And we got Imola. Do we want to make an Imola prediction now? What do you think is going to happen in Imola?
I don't know that much about that track. I'm like, oh, this is the other Italian race?
Yes. It's like, I only care about Monza.
Yeah. And it used to be lit, and then Senna died.
Yeah.
And
And
now
then they made it safe.
They made it safe, and it's less.
And now it's like not fun.
Yeah.
I think that Kimi Antonelli is going to continue his.
He's gonna qualify well.
I think he's gonna have a very good qualifying. We'll see where that car actually is. Yeah. Hopefully, it's hot as fuck, and these tires can actually degrade, and something interesting can happen.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be another.
Go the softest. They went almost. They're like, we go one step to go another step softer.
These tires don't degrade.
We talked about we actually we're in the paddock.
Yes.
For 30 seconds. Okay, we're in the paddock for 30 seconds. One of those 30 seconds we got to talk to. We ran into the CEO of Pirelli.
Yes, because we always hang out at Pirelli because like Gunter's boys with Mario.
Yeah, and they eat pasta. They eat pasta in the boiling heat. Absolutely, it's like, do you want the lunch? You want the pasta? We're okay. We're really fine. I mean, we're pigs.
Salad. Somewhere.
I don't understand how these Italian men eat the fucking pasta and stay so squinty. But anyway,
yes. We meet the head of Pirelli.
And we're making small talk on him. I'm like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about these tires? He goes, our tires are too good. They're just not. They're too good.
And then we're like, well, you got to make them worse. And he goes, but then they complain that they're bad. And I said, that's your catch-22. But here's the thing: what I've learned now over the last 5 years watching F1,
make them bad.
I'd rather have them be bad than good.
But here's
bad tires make for great moments. Max kicking his tire in Baku. Oh no, tire failure! I would love to see some tire failure.
Yeah, but that's bad for their business,
right?
The problem is when they're too bad, then they manage.
Yeah.
So you want the right balance between like they're pushed, they're not completely managing, but they're not just going flat out.
I'd rather them manage. I'd rather them manage. I don't care if they're like, I'm really pushing. I'm like, let the tires degrade.
Yeah.
I want a two-stopper.
And you want the George Russells of the world to like not manage and then get burned.
Right. I think I've said this on a previous pod where someone was suggesting this that they put the soft is like it's not just like 4, 5, 6 or 2, 3, 4 in terms of like the 1 through 7 hierarchy. Yeah. It's like 2, 4, 5, so that the softs are going to be like so much faster that'll actually encourage them to use the softs. Maybe,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or that it's not just like in order. It's not a stepping stool that they actually like kind of create a bit of a distance.
Yeah,
maybe it's like the 6 for the hard, 4, 3 for the soft and medium. So then there's like you'll really be able to go way longer on the hard, and then you can really have some like interesting tire strategy if you do that. Right. Not just go a step softer across the board. Anyway, that's how we maybe try to fix some of this shit. Imola predictions, and then we'll be done.
Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Kimi Antonelli.
I think it's going to be Lando Norris, Kimi Antonelli, Oscar Piastri.
See you in hell.
We gotta thank. Listen, before we go, we obviously need to thank our daddies of the pod. They make this all possible for us. We got to thank our daddies of the pod who make this all possible. We got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Harlow, Kimberly Whalen, Alonso of My Face 69, Donya Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584. Delusional Signs Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour Dion, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Signs Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts, Jay Kess, George Russell's Evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis Alexander, The Real Toto Wolf, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eve the Wire, Aaron Fiber, Devin, a.k.a. the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Tsunoda's other mother, Jenny is the reason I am a daddy. Megan, Aaron, Pineapple with a Y. Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ and fuck the HOA. K-Mag can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuzh, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda. Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud. Aaron, Shawhid, Jeans Rockstar Chohun. Shake and Bake, Catalick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Charles Leclerc, and our newest daddy, Truth Bringer, baby. He or she is bringing the truth. Honorary daddy of the pod, Max Verstappen, Mazel Tov, and Kelly Piquet, Mazel Tov, and of course our one and only Nicole Piastri this week, every week, especially this week. Her son's got three wins in a row. Pretty impressive. And if you want to become a dad of the pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod and become our benefactor today. We will see you next week, Vegas. Also subscribe. Vega Hours comes out on Wednesday.